Hello there. Welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. I'm Cloud Hudson. As always, I'm your comedian slash meteorologist, comediorologist, if you will. I am coming at you live from my parents' basement. I guess consideration for this program was provided to you by my parents' undying support. Because they won't let me die. Okay. I'm just kidding. That it's really nice to have the support of a family that won't let me be out in the 9-degree temperatures right now, because that's kind of where I would be if I wasn't in my mom's basement. So let's get into today's weather tonight. It is a sun day. It's Sunday. It's 1 week after the Grindavik eruption last week, and we are in a Jupiter hour. Let's go ahead and do a little incense ASMR. This is root chakra dragon's blood, and it's the last piece of incense in this it's Nag Champa incense. It's the last piece in this piece of incense that I got as a gift from someone whose vibes I don't like. So I am really happy that I get to use the rest of it. This is the last bit of it. I'm using the last bit of energy from that person. Nothing bad against them or anything. It was very nice of them to give me some root chakra incense to help me feel more grounded. But the packet has served its purpose, and I realized why I felt ungrounded. So I like this with the intention not to talk about negativity. I like this with the intention that we're going to have some really cool discussions today. I really hope that we have a good time. We're always going to have a good time if I get to talk about weather and the planets and how the planets are weather. Can't have meteorology without meteors. Okay, I know that's not the meteors they're talking about, but go ahead and grid myself up here. I got a nice raw labradorite piece right here. Hopefully you can hear and see that it's very different from the selenite. See if I can get a flash going. No, not much. Doesn't want to do anything but reflect right now, but I promise this is a very pretty raw piece. Yeah, almost. It's only doing the surface reflection, but there's internal reflections as well, doing honestly my hair color. All right, let's go ahead and share my screen. I'm going to start off with the planets. Just because I feel a little bit more organized when I'm starting from the top down. Let's do that so you can see the most possible. All right. So here we go. Here is our current astro weather. Like I said, we're in a sun day and a Jupiter hour. I'm actually gonna, while this is on, I'm gonna put this downwind of me. Oh, and I should turn on the pretty light. Turn on the pretty light. Okay. And we see that we've got the sun here in Aquarius now officially, and we have the Pluto in Aquarius officially now. So we are now officially in Aquarius season, and it's the most Aquarius season. It's the most beginning of Aquarius season that I'm going to live through, because this is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, according to Hare. And it's also the start of Aquarius season, which happens every year. But almost, I don't think ever in the ephemeris are we going to see again the beginning of, well, in my lifetime, the beginning of Aquarius season with the ingress of Pluto into Aquarius. So that's really fun. I really enjoy when we get to see so much like very overt astrology. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling very tech, very ritual, very like, I don't know, oversoul, large groups, big 11th house things, Aquarius, Uranian things, Aquarian things. What am I saying? Sun is applying to a square with Jupiter, though, so we'll have to really use our. We'll have to make a conscious choice to choose growth over stagnation, because again, Jupiter can bring in a lot. It's a multiplier kind of thing, but it's not like positive or negative, even though it's technically beneficent. It's a benefic planet. It's like it's good, not bad, but Jupiter can bring lots of things, including weather. And so does Venus. I mean, just because they're the benefics doesn't mean they're good, because they are very crucial for weather, as I'm finding out in my astrometeorology research. And we see Venus is taking her last few degrees of Sagittarius before she moves into Capricorn. So right now, Capricorn has only got Mars and Mercury in it. So if you feel a little bit less motivated to be like grind on your grind game, it makes sense, but it'll be very aesthetic as to be on your grind as soon as Venus comes in here. Let's go on to, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Black Moon Lilith, because I skipped over it yesterday. That is the point of apogee. That is where the moon is the furthest in distance from the Earth in its elliptical rotation, which has to do with like when we're looking at supermoons. A supermoon would be opposite from the Black Moon Lilith, because Black Moon Lilith is Black Moon Lilith is apogee, so that's when it's the furthest away from the Earth, and perigee is when the moon is closest to the Earth, and that's when the media likes to call it a supermoon, if it's a full moon opposite of Lilith. So since Lilith is in Virgo right now, we would see our next supermoon around the time of a Pisces lunation. So we're looking into Pisces season for the Lilith thing to come into effect of what I want to talk about. But right now we are moving into Aquarius season, and we're approaching the next full moon in Aquarius on January 25th. That'll be the moon in Leo. So, and that'll be not square the nodes. That'll be the first full moon in Leo that's not square the nodes in a long time. Let's go now to the sun itself. Let's see what the sun itself is doing. We've seen 4 different coronal mass ejections on this calendar day, but the 20th yesterday had a lot of solar activity. See, we ended at 20, 35, 21. So that is 14 coronal mass ejections in one day. So I only showed you guys this one. I broadcast somewhere in here around 8 o'clock yesterday, and then there were still several more flares after that. So let's take a look at the one that happened right around midnight UTC. You can see it kind of blew out the aspect ratio there. You can see so many particles like streaming in the last frame. You can see them streaming towards the, it's like you see the blast hit this detector. It's like it went straight for this detector. I am going to love seeing how this has affected our geomagnetic storm watch, because I think we are in a G1 or at least a G2 storm watch. Yes, G2 geomagnetic storm watch. We are currently in a geomagnetic storm watch. We'll see the protons elevate. Yeah, look at that. We've seen significant. See if I can get. Let's see. That's the electron density and the proton density have really sharply increased in the last few hours. I think that is probably the yesterday's activity catching up. Got greatly increased solar radio flux. That is, and greatly increased solar sunspot numbers. Let's see look at that X-ray activity too. Taking a look at the X-ray activity, as you saw, we had a few peaks in the C5 to 6 region yesterday, and then we have seen a big uptick in it today. So that's kind of what I was expecting after we had 2 days ago kind of a lull. We went back down to B class range. I was thinking, I think it's going to shift up. So here we are. I'm expecting M class flares soon. They say there's a 50% chance, 10% chance of an X class flare. And y'all remember that we had those very significant flares at the beginning of the year, triggering a lot of earthquake activity. So this is really exciting. Yeah, X 5.0 was on New Year's Eve. Let's look at, the most recent X-ray flux was 6.56. That's pretty significant. Let's look at there was the one, it was the one yesterday after sunspot 3557 had a coronal mass ejection with a full coronal halo. And that was the one that was like on the approaching us side. Let's watch. Yeah, this was the flower one. This was the flower one. This is the one that we watched yesterday and we were like, oh, that's so pretty. It looks like a flower. Yeah. Full flowery halo. Beautiful, beautiful CME. But that is where we look for that's what we expect to see a geomagnetic storm after. Looking at an impact of early Tuesday, January 23rd is what they're modeling. So let's look at let's see if their models are updated to show that yet. Yeah, there's that massive launch. You remember yesterday we were talking about how pretty that flower was? Yeah, that is that. And you see Earth is the yellow dot right here. We're going to probably get a glancing blow from that, but it's not affecting us because, as I said, this is approaching full moon. This is when the moon is entering like the tail of the Earth, the magneto tail, like into. This is the moon getting into hiding behind the Earth range. So I expect this to set off some really funky happenings around the time of the full moon. I just have this feeling that this one is going to be weird, to say the least. Let's see. Let's go to. Okay, that one doesn't want to update for me recently. Let's watch the pretty pictures. Watch the pretty pictures. Oh, looks like this one's going to show us some nice. Remember where we left off was this upper one erupting. Or we picked off where we left off our broadcast yesterday. It's right here. Activity there and there. Big flare, big flare. Storming. It's storming. Let's take a look at the sandwich one. The composite ones. Just keeps popping off and chain reactions. Sometimes one will set off and induce resonance and create its own magnetic fields, which is a trigger point for another one. This is just the most wavy that waves get. I don't know how else to say it. This is the waves doing their wave thing the most clearly as possible. And look at this tornado off to the side. I mean, that's out of Earth view right now, but like this is swirling up a storm right here. And you can see when you see one definite color, remember that yesterday we were talking about like RGB, how when they overlap the white, that means that all three wavelengths are being represented there. You can see how certain storm events are visible in different colors, or different wavelengths of different angstroms. Look at that. Oh, it's so pretty. Okay. I want that as my background, just a constant feed of Solar Dynamics Observatory. That'd be beautiful. Our second composite map here. Do you like my noises? Oh, that's beautiful. You can see it really ripple out in these frequencies. Let's watch that again. You can see how they have these like connections all across from sunspot region to sunspot region. There's not just one. They are all interacting in one big complicated system. So that's really cool to see. I really enjoy getting to witness that unfold in real life. And again, we're going to have that full moon pretty soon here early on in Aquarius on the 25th. And that blow is suspected to reach Earth around the 23rd. We're going to have the moon trailing into Cancer right here and into Leo for that. I mean, that's going to be a very interesting time. That might even put our moon at some aspect to both Pisces and Taurus at the time that launch meets Earth on sometime between Tuesday and Thursday this week. There is probably going to be significant resonance induced that way. I am looking forward to seeing what we get out of that. So let's go ahead and go to our atmosphere. Let's look at pivotal weather before it slows down my computer too much. Let's go to observations. All right. And we are seeing dry conditions over much of the U.S., except we are getting some desert southwest rain today. So this will be one of their few rain events that they get out in the desert, recharging those water tables. They're just rushing down into canyons right now. Wouldn't want to be a camper out there at the moment. And you can see there's a significant amount of moisture being dumped all along the Pacific Northwest and across much of the country as we go out a couple days, because there are going to be some storms coming from the Gulf of Mexico, powered by some of this Pacific Gulf Stream, Pacific to Gulf atmospheric river kind of thing. And still some lake effect situations going on here. That's not going to let up for much of the winter. But we are expecting temperatures to go down. So this isn't spelling snow for everyone. This is spelling more of a, more of a freeze situation. Let's go now to temperature analysis. Okay. Well, pivotal weather. It would be pivotal for you to get faster servers. I guess I could donate, but I can't actually. So I wouldn't. Let's go ahead. Looking at our 2-meter or 2-meter temperature. You see, I mean, this doesn't look like a warm up very much, but this is a warm up compared to the last 2 weeks. We have been just freezing cold. Really, really cold. So yeah, I mean, single digits in the south, negative digits in the south, negative temperatures in below the Mason-Dixon, below the Ohio River. We're seeing single digits in teens, not even in upper elevations, but in much of the lowlands. They do not have the infrastructure down here. We do not have the infrastructure down here for these temperatures. So this is why significant changes to regular weather patterns are so potentially destructive, because the north is literally built different and the south is literally built different. The north can't handle when they get the hot heat waves, and the south can't handle when they get these cold flashes. The actual physical materials that make up our buildings, structures, and institutions don't hold up in temperatures this far from the norm. But we're expecting a big warm up to come in right after that. So we're going to be going from the single digits up back to the 50s. That is a rapid temperature swing. So I hope any frozen pipes don't bust. I hope that everybody's got their breakables inside, because anything that gets a little weather in it right now is probably going to swell and burst. Let's go now to our, I want to look at our, let's look at this. Let's check out current. Take a look at the potential vorticity units map. I like to watch this because this is kind of how I imagine the polar vortex. Looking five-sided or six-sided. I'd say that's like a wave number of 6. Shifting into a 5-6 pattern. Very interesting, but really hard to identify any centralized lobes other than where we're in an interaction region with the ridges down here. And there's the ridge that we're expecting. There's that big warm up we're expecting, right followed again by another big polar air mass. So yeah, I'm not excited about what this. Listen, I am very curious about what this Aquarius season brings us, but I'm not exactly excited, because I think that this is going to be a wake-up call for a lot of people about the current state of our infrastructure and what actually keeps us safe and sound. And yeah, I'm expecting not great. We did at least get a little bit of a break from the southern snow, but they're calling, the meteorologists are calling for a lot of ice storms to happen, all the way up into where we've just gotten feet of snow across the Midwest. We're supposed to be getting ice on top of that. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out. I can't really imagine an ice storm on top of a snowstorm because I'm from the South. So I don't like, it's either ice or snow or like a gross mix of either. I've never seen snow on the ground followed by a big ice storm that didn't like melt it a little, or make it into a big chunk of ice. Now I've seen several inches of ice from an ice storm before, and that is terrible for infrastructure. So how many times can I say infrastructure in one broadcast? Okay. Let's go to I want to go to the earthquake and volcanic activity today. Wait, that's not the one I want to go to. I want to go to a different version of that link. Yeah. There we go. let's go to latest available from yesterday. From today to yesterday. Yesterday to today. All magnitudes. All depths. Thank you guys for being so patient with me. I am going to step up this channel as we go into the future. I am trying to, I have a plan to move from a Chromebook to a more powerful computer, but it's in the works right now. I also have a plan to, well, I don't have a plan, but I am hoping to have some slightly more coherent research done on astrometeorology so that I can explain that better. Okay, so we had that big 6 point something, 7, what are they calling it now? 6.6 in Brazil yesterday, far western Brazil near the border. And then immediately that was followed by these 4s and 5s north and south of it. We had a very shallow 5 here. We had a shallow 10-kilometer deep 5 down in Argentina today. And then another earthquake here in the South Sandwich Islands. That was yesterday at 4:54 UTC. We're still seeing activity here in the Fiji Islands and Tonga region. That was also a 10-kilometer deep 5. That was hours, like maybe an hour after the one in Chile. So that's interesting. Or is that Brazil? No, that's in Argentina. I don't know if that registered as in Argentina or in Chile. So what does it say if I mouse over? I think that's in Argentina. No, it says San Antonio, Chile. That 5.1 yesterday was in Chile, and then this 5.1 was in New Caledonia. And then we had a 4.1, a shallow 4.1 in New Zealand yesterday. Relatively deep 4.3. Several all across the Indonesia and Philippines region. Somewhere out here in the Marianas Trench region, we had a 6.1 and still seeing some residual quakes today. Closer to, here closer to the mainland of China in the Philippines, in the South China Sea, we've seen 4.5 earthquakes. One yesterday at 25 kilometers deep and one today at 10 kilometers deep. So to me, that says it's coming out of the ground. And then we also had a 5 at 10 kilometers. I think that was the first one of the 10-kilometer deep ones yesterday. And then, of course, we had this really shallow 6 out here south of Madagascar. Looks like we've also got increased activity in Puerto Rico today. Several quakes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different quakes, all about magnitude 2 to 3, upper 2s, mid 3s. And if I were Dutch Sense, I would add those up together. He likes to add those together. So these happen right next to each other. 2.5 and a 3. Let's call that, a 5.5. And then adding all of those together. That looks like it could be dissipating some of the energy northwards. I do believe that this is one big vertical crack. This looks very connected to me. See. Oh, now they're registering the 4.8 in the Rearcast Ridge. That is right outside, south of Iceland. But just along the ridge. This is also, let me get on the satellite and plate boundaries. Turn on plate boundaries and you'll see how these just go right up. Yeah, right up there. These are spreading. These are subsiding. This is getting subsided under this. So any energy going into here, I guess, would scoot it under. We've got one here in, I think, Bosnia, Herzegovina, 2.8 magnitude today at 10 kilometers down. That was after we had one in Afghanistan, and also these are recent. A moderately deep 4 in Tajikistan, and then again 10-kilometer deep 4.5 at right here in Afghanistan proper. So let's also take a look at what's going on in the United States, because both continental and the two Pacific states, Alaska and Hawaii, have been about as active as they could show us. I think this is about as active as possible. All right around the same. I think this is Kilauea having some moderate activity. Two right next to each other, like at the exact same point, and both magnitude 2s. There's a lot of energy going through this plate right now. There's also so much happening in Alaska right now. I don't understand how they're not calculating this as a large earthquake with a lot of different aftershocks, but I also am not a seismologist officially, so I don't know how that works. But we've even gotten one today as soon as we got into the yeah, we see a big arrow right there. We've also got more seismic activity in Nevada and California, out here in the west coast of the United States, where there's a lot of smaller activity, but I'm not convinced that that doesn't indicate larger activity. I'm just either this is just Swiss cheesed up and there's so many cracks in here that no one amount of energy can attenuate fast enough. Like they're all getting there at different times. It's kind of like how it's harder to move something that is going off in a bunch of different directions than it is to move something that's all together. It's easier to pick up hair from the ground if you wad it all into the ball and then pick up the ball. Right now, the fissures and the cracks in the ground in the United States at the edge of the North American craton are all the different pieces of hair where you would step on them in very different what is the best? The energy can't attenuate because there's no really good point for where it goes. There's a path of many different tributaries of where it could go. But I think that we're just going to see this increase. Honestly, we're just going to see this continue. I'm also not convinced that there's no divergent plate here. I mean, divergent boundary right here. This is a long transform boundary. So where's it diverging? Because we don't get. Anyway, let's move on. They're just swirling around Puerto Rico. Let's animate just that. Swirling around here. Let's animate these quakes. Swirling there. And then where are they taking off? Yeah. Here near Palomas, west of Ponce, Tajaboa, very right off the coast of San Juan. Yeah, right where there's this subsidence zone. Very interesting. I don't know enough about predicting earthquakes to say what that's about, but I know that that is a consistent pattern that we've seen throughout the past week or two is a lot of activity in basically this whole region. This is really flaring up, I would call it. Now let's go to look at Iceland's reporting of their own geological activity. The Blue Lagoon opened again. Isn't that great? Isn't it so awesome that they open the tourist attraction again when the town is still evacuated and there's still active sinkholes opening up underneath plumbers trying to fix the town of Grindavik? Sounds like a great time to let some foreigners into your country to pay you money just to gawk. Sounds like a big money opportunity. We are still monitoring the gases, off-gassing. I still, where is the hazard map? They downgraded this so that they could open up the Blue Lagoon again. Other people are saying that they're not saying that's on purpose. I think it might have been on purpose. Why else would you downgrade the risk here? It seems like with such critical infrastructure in Zone 1, you would want to keep it at an elevated level of threat so that we could exclude what we need the exclusion zone larger, not smaller, as the unrest grows and as the chaos ensues. I just don't understand what they're doing here with that. Let's go to look at their earthquake map. Yeah. I mean, I think it looks a little bit more active Sunday night at the midnight and noon hours. Not trying to say there's an increase, but I do think, oh God, I don't like the look of it because it looks to me like we're going back up north and getting ready to go back down south. Let's look at the Reykjanes Ridge. Oh, they don't even show the one. This is the one where on the global map, you could see a large 4.5 out here. This is right along the ridge. We're really looking at, I just can't, I can't see the next eruption not happening within a week. I see it happening within a week. We are 1 week from the last one. Let's see, what was the phase of the moon on that last one? I guess it was like just past new moon, and we're about to be just before full moon. Yeah. And the moon was, I wanted to bring this up. The moon being at a new moon in 60 degrees from its new moon point, meaning it was like 1/6 of the way into its cycle. And it was in Pisces. And remember, at the beginning of the broadcast, I talked about how Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo right now, meaning that perigee point opposite Lilith is in Pisces right now. So our moon was in Pisces when like we had a super moon placement during that eruption on January 14th. The moon was moving through Pisces. Remember, the eruption started when the moon joined Saturn and ended right after it left its conjunction with Neptune at the beginning and ends of Pisces. So I'll be really interested to see what happens in the next couple days, specifically this week, as we get into the time when the moon is moving through Gemini Cancer, which would make great aspects to both the Taurus and Pisces and Capricorn placements, and Leo, where we're getting the full moon, and Virgo, where we see the current apogee point. So I'm really interested in, I've been doing a lot of research into astrometeorology for you guys. I'm reading and watching and taking a lot of notes on trying to build up a history of astrometeorology for you guys. I want to do an in-depth video dive that's not alive about the history of astrometeorology, but I am still in the research phase for that. So mark your calendars. I do hope to get my channel intro video completed, hopefully today or tomorrow. Fingers crossed. But I've already got the audio recorded for it. I'm really looking forward to showing you guys my silly little, and everyone who sees it now, you're seeing this channel before any improvements. This is the old days. We are living through currently my back in the YouTube days. So you are currently with me in the back in the YouTube days era. So with that, I'm still doing things the way that I am doing them for this era. Listen, sounds different than this one. Hear that? Compared to the labradorite. Selenite sounds more like ding, ding. Sounds more like a bell. Labradorite sounds more like the ocean floor. It sounds like there's an entire ocean in there. Okay. Let's take this off the stream right now. Get a little card reading going. Hope y'all are having a wonderful Sunday evening. Again, if y'all are watching this on Facebook, I am mostly streaming this from YouTube. So I'd love to get your interaction over on my YouTube at Cloud Hudson. But I'm glad that you're here on the Facebook if you are. I just can't see your comments because I'm streaming from Streamlabs and it doesn't have a Facebook comment integration in chat yet. All right. This is a beautiful positive card. My purpose in life is joy. My purpose in life is joy. The basis of your life is freedom. The purpose of your life is joy. You are free to choose new adventures for joy, and in your joyous growth, you will add to the experience of all that is. And all that is in dashes. So, very interesting cards. I don't know why. I'm getting a feeling that I really want to pull a tarot card today, which I haven't done before. But new solar season, new practice, I guess. Let's leave this out there so it can give the energy to that card. I've got a great idea. I'm coming. Don't worry. Be right there. Alrighty. I'm back. Had to clear that out because I had some of these cards sitting on my altar from the last time I did a reading with them, which was now, upon reflection over there, definitely telling me that I was going to get fired last December, but I didn't see it coming. Well, I saw it in the cards, but I was like, nah, that's not what that means. But it was. It was like, what? The Six of Cups reversed, the Three of Swords, the Five of Cups, the Eight of Cups, all the sad cups and all the sad swords. And I was like, wait, no, I have it stacked here. I was the Fool reversed, the Ten of Swords, the Eight of Cups, and the Six of Cups reversed, the King of Swords reversed, and the Three of Swords. Of course, I got that. Definitely screams you're doing your best, but that layout screams when you try your best, but you don't succeed, And I definitely did try my best, but I didn't succeed. I succeeded in being employed for 6 months. There you go. I did successfully have a job. Would I call that success? No. But I did succeed in meeting cool people and having a job for a cool job for a little while. Now, this is my job. Is it paying? No, but you are paying attention, right? Here, I'm just here to tell you the weather. I'm here to tell you the weather, and nobody is paying attention to the planets when they're telling you the weather. And that is just a gross oversight, in my humble opinion. I see my viewership just keeps going in and out. I keep going from 1 to 0, 1 to 0. I'm going to do one more. One of the cards in the hippie deck, the New Age deck is what I'm calling it, the Power of the Law of Attraction deck that I'm working with, just jumped out right now. So I think I have to read that one too. So all right. Very clear. For my purpose in life is joy. Got the Five of Cups. I didn't actually get that in the last one, but I said it. I thought I had gotten it in the last one. God, very, very foretelling. You like my holographic tarot? Holographic Chinese text tarot. Yeah. So my purpose in life is joy with the 5 of Cups. That is screaming to me, you have joy everywhere. You're just looking at the sorrow. So let me not talk about what already happened and what's sad. Let's look at the 2 cups that are still there. Don't look at the 3 that fell over. Look at the 2 that are still there. Me and you. It's me and you, bud. That's where we're the cups that are still there. And for the card that jumped out while I started talking, it is this one right here. It says, I mean, yes, this is the weather. Anyone just tuning in, this is part of the weather. This is the weather from the cosmos. From the planets are only the closest things from the cosmos we can understand. And for everything beyond the planets that our physical media can't get to sense yet, I have cards for. I choose to be here in this glorious physical body. To me, this has been my choice. Now, that is a card that's really hard to accept for a lot of people, but has felt empowering for me as I've chosen to accept it. And I did have to choose to accept it because for a while I was like, I would not have chosen this. That is BS. I did not choose to be here. I didn't ask to be born, but I now choose to believe that I did. And I chose my parents and who they were and what it would be like. You chose the opportunity to experience this delicious contrast and to co-create with other joy-seeking beings, to fine-tune the process of deliberate thought. What, where, when, and with whom you create are your choices too. So I'm not even, I feel that I don't pull a card for that. I think that these all 3 go together. That is what I'm feeling. That this is really about the power of attention and intention. And we can put our energy wherever we want to, and so much will come out of it. And if you think that you're only good at manifesting negative things, maybe you don't have enough hope yet. And you just need to start small with baby steps in manifesting. Start with something really small to get the feeling inside your body of, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can call stuff in. Do little stuff. Like, try to guess what time it is when you're opening your phone. Or like, try to find parking. Like, little stuff. Just have absolute faith and act as if it's already written in history. And that's what the attention part is. Okay. I love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. All 2 of you somewhere out there. I love you guys so much. Remember that astrometeorology is real, and I'm going to figure it out, but I don't have it all figured out yet. Currently, just reporting on coincidences, incidences that co-occur. So, that I leave you guys with this. I'm going to leave you guys with a little singing bowl vibes here as we end stream. Yeah.